All right, friends. So today we are going to be moving on with the next steps of our Paul Klee's cat project. And today we're going to be working on the background, which is the area around our animal. The last time when we were coloring in our animal, we had to choose between either using warm colors, which are reds, oranges, yellows, and pinks, or you could choose cool colors, which are blues, greens, and purples. So whichever group you chose for your animal, as you can see, I chose warm colors, the pinks, reds, oranges, and yellows. Whichever group of colors you chose last time, today you're going to use the opposite. So I will be using cool colors today in my background and also in the collar of my animal. So we're going to be working with patterns in our background. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a line pattern using that group of colors that we just chose. So for me it was the cool colors. So I'm going to be using cool colors to make a pattern in my background. And my patterns are going to be line patterns. So we're going to be using a special kind of marker today called a Mr. Sketch marker. And I believe this is probably the first time that we have used Mr. Sketch markers in first grade. When we use a Mr. Sketch marker, we do not color back and forth like when we color with crayon. With these markers, we are going to be coloring in strips or in stripes. So I'm going to choose a line that I'm going to be repeating to make my pattern. So for my animal, I think I'm going to use a zigzag line. So I'm going to use my Mr. Sketch marker, and I'm going to start at the top of my paper, and I'm going to make a zigzag line. I'm going to be really careful not to color over my animal. Just like that. Once I have my first zigzag line, I'm going to go ahead and repeat that line to make it a pattern, because a pattern is something that repeats over and over and over again. So my zigzag line is here. I'm going to leave a big space, and I'm going to make another zigzag. And I'm going to draw and then skip where my animal is, because I don't want to draw over his face. And then draw again on the other side. Come back, leave a big space, draw, skip, draw, draw, skip, draw, draw, skip, draw, draw, skip, draw, one more, draw, skip, draw. Now that I have my zigzag line in a pattern repeating in the background, I'm going to use a crayon in my same cool color group, and I'm going to color in the area between. So I think I'm going to use a green crayon. So I would just start nice and neat coloring in the white paper between my zigzags. We want to make sure that we are going nice and slow and we're staying inside the lines. We don't want to get our cool color crayon on our animal, since our animal is warm color in this case. Now, if you wanted to go even extra tricky with your patterns, you could also create a color pattern in your background. So you could use your green crayon in this line, and then let's say we use a purple crayon in our next line, because purple is also a cool color. So I'm keeping my same cool color group, but I'm switching up I'm making a color pattern as well as a line pattern with the zigzags. So I have two patterns happening here, which is a little extra tricky. You do not have to do that unless you want to. It is totally okay for you to keep your pattern with just using the same color all in your background. So if I'm keeping my pattern, I'm going green, purple, green, my next stripe is going to be purple, and think ahead now. What would you say is going to be the next color? Would it be green or would it be purple? If we have green, purple, this one's going to be, you guessed it, green. Remember, I'm not coloring in my collar yet. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Next color in my pattern is purple. Next color in my pattern is green. And of course, the very last color that's going to go in my pattern here at the very bottom is purple. Okay, now we are going to use our same group of colors for our collar. So for me, I'm using cool colors, so I'm going to choose two more cool colors. I'm going to use a blue, and I think I'm going to use this blue-green is kind of cool. It's kind of a turquoise color. So I'm going to use both of those cool colors to color in my animal's collar. So I'm going to color in the middle of his collar with my turquoise blue color. And then the triangles of the collar, I'm going to make this nice dark blue color. So I'm still using cool colors in the collar. So my animal, I used warm, and the collar and the background, I used cool. And you're going to want to go very slow and make sure that you're staying inside the lines and that all of your white paper gets colored. I'm rushing a little bit because I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm trying to hurry. But you are going to have plenty of time, because if we do not get this done in one art time, it is totally okay. We will spend another art time on it to get it finished. So I want you to make sure you are doing your very best job. But here we are. Here is our warm color, cool color cat in the style of Paul Klee.